Hey everyone, we just finished up Pan Am. This is actually our third game of it, but this is our first two-player game of it, and we wanted to just talk to you guys about it real fast, tell you about the game. It did come out just recently out at Target. It's a game where you're basically creating routes with your airplanes, which is pretty cool. There's not a whole lot of airplane games out there. I played this twice with my friend David Taylor yesterday, and I enjoyed it so much that I rushed out and I bought my own copy. I am joined here by Amanda in pajamas.
Oh,
Hello. She's tired today. So we did play yesterday two games, a four-player, and today was our first game two-player, which was a very different experience. Let me explain the game to you a little bit. There's these event cards, and there's actually like four of them for each one of the rounds, and you randomly choose them and you create an event deck. These events will basically allow you, tells you how many, where the stock price will be set, how many times you're going to roll the dice at the end of the round. And it also basically gives an event, like in this case, that starting with the first player, each player may place in airports. So just little random things that'll pop up that are going to allow you to try to, capitalize. Say you're going to give you more money, put airports on, upgrade airplanes, things like that. But after you're done with that, then you would adjust the stock price. Stock price is basically how you're going to gain victory points. So depending on where this little marker is, that's how much the stock is going to cost. So at the end of the round, it could be that each stock costs $6. Then you would use your money to be able to buy the stock, and then that would basically be the victory points at the end of the game of whoever has the most stock. There are directive cards that give you free stock as well, but regardless, stock are victory points. After you do that, you're going to assign your engineers. These are your engineers. You have A, B, C, D, and E. Those are the locations you're going to assign your engineers. If you assign them up here, you get to place airports out on the board. And it is a bidding deal. So like if I place there, then Amanda could go there, knock my guy off, but that's going to be what you're going to pay to be able to place an airport. Same with over here, destination tick cards. There's four spaces where you could possibly go, and this is what they are. They're like cities. Each one of the card represents a city, and that's how you're going to be able to create routes between. So basically, like Guam and Wake, if you own those two cities, then you can place one of your airplanes there. And depending on what the number is, that's the size of the airplane that would be required, because you have tri-motors, which are number ones, clippers, which are number twos, cruisers, which are number threes, and jets, which are number fours, and those are the hardest ones to get, obviously. But then as you place them there, you're also going to gain income on your board and increase that based upon whatever that number is. So that's how you're going to gain money throughout the round as well. But if you do that, you're going to get destinations, and if you see, they go all the way up to 6, and there's 4 cards that you can try to gain. C is how you're going to get extra airplanes, and obviously you need airplanes if you're going to become some sort of like um, airplane, monopoly juggernaut kind of business person. Down here are routes. So the way that we do routes is that that's how you're going to be able to put your airplanes that you have in your fleet out onto the board. So what you would do is you'd have an engineer there, and depending on who's first, then you would assign an airplane to one of the locations. Now the way that this works is that you either possess both of the cities, or that's what airports are for. So like I have an airport right here in Tokyo. So basically I don't need a card for Tokyo anymore. So I can fly out of Tokyo to Shanghai, Nome, San Francisco, or Wake for free. However, I do need the other card. What I mean by that is Wake, Shanghai, Nome, or San Francisco, I would need one of those city cards unless I have one of that same color. So in this case, if I did not have Wake, I could still discard either Nome or Hong Kong and use it as a wild to still place an airplane there. Or I can use two of the same color as a wild to place anywhere. So I could use two of the same color to still represent Shanghai, even though I would not have that card. I know that's a little confusing at first to try to wrap your mind around it, but it works wonderfully. And it allows you to really understand how versatile these destination cards really are and how important they are. Now, directives are not. Oh, so if you've played Lords of Waterdeep, directives are kind of like. I'm trying to remember what that location is on the board, but basically it allows you to use your what are those cards? Those one cards in Lords of Waterdeep. I can't remember the names of them. That intrigue cards. This is kind of like the intrigue cards that you get to play, and then you also get to place them again after everybody's placed. But they get placed at the beginning of the round. Plus, you get directive cards. Directive cards, like this one here, it tells you exactly when you play them. This one plays at the end of the game, and it just gives you a stock for free. But there's all kinds of different ones. For instance, this one tells you that it's played during the expansion. I'll explain that in just a second. Or they have letters on them, like this one here. It tells you resolution phase E, which that would be the directives, and that's when you would play it. It'll tell you exactly when the cards are played. So then after you're done placing all of them and you're resolving from A, E, then you would go into the expansion. And that's when you would look on the bottom of the card, and that tells you how many times you roll the die. Now, Pan Am is located here in Miami. That's where you would start. And you would roll the die, and where is the die for us? It is right here. And it has symbols. And if you notice, these little routes, they match these little symbols. So that tells you where Pan Am is going to buy out that route. And if you happen to have a plane there, they're going to buy your plane. And depending on the size of the plane, that's the amount of money that you would gain. Now you would go down on your income track for losing that plane. So for instance, if they bought my Clipper, which is a 2 money one, I would lose that 2 money, but I would also gain 9 immediately out of the bank. So it is definitely a win. You want to try to sell your planes, possibly. If you can. And they do go along the Asia Pacific, the South America, and then the North American route. Those are it's called the Europe route. Those are the 3 directions it goes. Then there's also one side, which is just the Pan Am one, which allows them to then buy out these ones that are clear. You can just they can buy those, which are usually typically the higher value ones, because they will never go along this path and buy them unless you roll this one here. So typically that's where you want to sell from if you can. So the game will go over the course of 7 rounds. Whoever owns the most stock at the end of the game is the winner. And like I said, this is our 3rd game, Amanda in Pajamas. What do you think of this one? You've played twice now, and you are unbeaten so far.
Yeah.
So you're feeling pretty good, I think.
I am.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Opinions?
It's I don't know. It's a different game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like it's something I've played before.
Mm-hmm.
It's really different, but the concept of the cards can be a little bit confusing about using them as wilds and stuff.
This here, yes.
Yeah. But other than that, I like it.
Yeah.
There's so many, especially in a 2-player game, because you have more moves.
Right. We played 4-player, which means you only get 3 engineers, but in a 2-player game, you get 5 engineers. Which is really awesome. And for me personally, I agree 100%. I rushed out and bought it for a reason. I think this is a great game. I am very impressed with this one. At first, I looked at it and I thought it looked really bland. But, once you start getting the airplanes on the board and everything starts moving and everything, and you realize just how awesome this game really is.
And upgrading your airplanes.
Yeah, and upgrading your airplanes and going from, whenever you can get like the cruisers or the jets. I didn't even have a jet this entire last game. She got the only jet, which they don't come out until round 6, so they're very difficult to get. It's really good. And I think that it's one of those ones where, really you're trying to rush to try to build around here if you can, to try to sell your planes as quick as you can. But at the same time, it's not a bad play to also just get a ton of airplanes out on the board and just start collecting a ton of income each round. So a lot of different ways to play the game. I would say, like I said, this is my 3rd time playing it. I could easily play it again. A lot of fun. I'm really impressed with this one an awful lot. So, Amanda, any final thoughts you would like to share?
No.
No?
No, I'm good.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun. I really liked it.
Yeah, same for us, or same for me. I don't speak of myself in the plural, so same for me as well. Yeah, an awful lot of fun. I highly recommend this one. It looks like a boring game, but boy, once you dive into it,
Yeah.
it's got some meat. So check out Pan Am if you get a chance. I think it's exclusive at Target at the moment, but hey man, it's up on the shelves. Grab it, man. And thanks for watching. Bye bye.